The Pat O'Hara Show is sponsored by the River Shack Tavern, 3449 River Road in Jefferson.
Welcome to the Pat O'Hara Show here at the River Shack Tavern. I'm your host, Brandon Rizzuto, and joining me as always is the show, and that is Pat O'Hara. Coach, welcome to the show.
It's good to be back Tuesday this time at the River Shack Tavern.
Absolutely. Memorial Day actually took place. Had a chance to honor our servicemen. We'll talk more about that later on, but we had a little football game on Saturday night and just so happened to be against the best team in the Arena Football League.
Arizona's a good football team. We knew that coming in. It's a tough matchup as far as player for player and schematically what we're trying to do against them. They're a team that went to the Arena Bowl last year with basically the same players. So we knew we had a great challenge, played a good 2 quarters and really hung with them there. And once you have turnovers against a team like that, it makes it tough.
You mentioned the nucleus being back, and they added a big guy named Maurice Purify that definitely didn't hurt him.
He's really good. That guy's really good. You know, I talked to him in the offseason, tried to get him to come to New Orleans. He has family out there in Arizona. He is a beast, you know. That's the best way to describe him. Very good football player. He made it difficult on us, for sure.
They had a lot of tall receivers. Every one of their receivers was big and physical.
Yeah, they had a 6'7", Marquis Wyatt, and Maurice is Purify 6'3", 6'4". They were all pretty big. But, you know, like I said, we matched up well in the first half there. You can't turn the football over against a good football team like that.
Talk about the first half, going in the locker room. What was your message to the team saying, you know, we got these guys within striking distance, and this is the best football team in the league?
Well, you know, I was disappointed. Towards the end of the half, we gave up an onside kick again, which was really disappointing as hard as we worked at it. But the good thing is that we got to stop on the 1-yard line going into the half. If they score there, they go up 2 possessions, and they have the ball coming out. That makes it real difficult. We were able to get that stop on the 1-yard line with no time left. We told our team, listen, we just need someone to make a play. We need to get that possession back. Sure enough, the opening kickoff, we get it off the bar. We score the next play, and it's a 1-point game. And then from there, it got away from us with the turnovers.
How big was that opening kickoff for the second half and actually getting the ball?
That was huge because you're trying to get that possession back. You know, you lose a possession, and it's like basketball in our game, Brandon. It's all about possessions. It's such a short field. So you're able to get that possession back off the net and turn it into points. You get back into a shootout with a great team. When you get in a shootout with a great team, you can't turn the football over. We did turn the football over, and that made it difficult.
28-27 early on in the third quarter. Arizona does what it does all season, is score quickly and score often. Just talk about that and how the momentum just quickly changed.
Yeah, well, we got with 1 point like we were talking about. Arizona gets the ball back. They score quickly, and then we throw an interception the next play. And then they score 1 play, and we get the ball back. We earn our way with a few penalties. We get stopped. That's a possession takeaway. So the possession stop with the penalties to tack onto it, and then the 2 turnovers and the fumble made it really difficult.
Talk about some of the positives you take from that game. You had a chance to look at the film, grade everybody out. What are some of the things you take from that game moving forward that can be positive?
Well, you know, I was disappointed overall. The game got away from us. That's the first time this season the game really kind of got away from us. And, you know, looking at some of our body language, some guys were kind of shell-shocked by that. It was disappointing to see that. However, today I think is the most positive I took from the game is that we watched the film yesterday. It was tough to watch. Today we went out, we had a really good practice. Guys are refocused, and they understand that we're 2 games out of first place of winning this division, and wins can change everything. So it's really all about this week and re-preparing and refocusing. We made a player acquisition this week that's going to help us on defense with our pass rush. So, you know, we're refocused and excited to go to Georgia.
We'll talk about the addition of Xavier Brown coming up in the next couple segments. But, Coach, one of the acquisitions you made in the past 2 weeks, Brad Paul, got a chance to start. What was your take on that?
Brad, you know, it was Brad's first game. He had a great week leading up to it. Again, the best pass rush in the league I thought we faced, and I think he did a pretty good job. I think there's some things with that first game kind of jitters we can correct. I think Brad's going to be solid for us, along with you know, Patrick Afif was a good acquisition to us, and you know, David and Gerald and Adam Durham. Now we have some depth there. I think we can protect better. So that's helping. We've got to keep improving our roster as we move along in the season.
Coach, one of the things before we put this Arizona game to bed, late in the first quarter, the interception and the penalties that followed and how Arizona got backed up they were on our 9, then they were on their 16. Can you explain to the fans and even myself what happened during that series of events? You know what I'm talking about? That one series, it was crazy. Interception negated by a penalty.
Yes. That was tough. You know, we get the interception. They called the penalty on Durandus Fries on our show today, and you know, really watching that tape, really disappointed in that call. I believe the call was incorrect. I've never seen that particular play called. They called it drifting on a defensive end. Sometimes we don't rush and we'll put our hands up, try to knock the ball down line of scrimmage, which is legal. For whatever reason, they called that penalty. It had nothing to do with the interception itself. That was a huge turning point, a huge call that took away a possession that we really desperately needed. And they went ahead and ended up scoring on that possession. But that's arena football. You know, calls go your way and sometimes go against you. You've got to be able to fight through it. We weren't able to do that.
Well, glad to finally put that Arizona game to bed. We're going to be having more Voodoo action right here on Cox 4. You're watching the Pat O'Hara Show. Stay tuned for more Voodoo action with head coach Pat O'Hara coming up next. Welcome back to the Pat O'Hara Show here at the River Shack Tavern. I'm Brandon Rizzuto, and it's not the Pat O'Hara Show for this segment, it's the Durandus Fries Show. Durandus, welcome to the show. And that is Durandus, that's not James Harden, the shooting guard for the Oklahoma City Thunder. You get that a lot?
I get that a lot because of the beard, you know. People like the beard. Some of them be like, is it real? And that's just something that you have to laugh about and enjoy.
Now, Durandus, you grew up here. You're from this local area. Talk about, you know, growing up in Terrytown on the West Bank.
Well, you know, growing up in Terrytown is just like, you know, it's somewhat an average neighborhood, but in some ways it's not, you know. But it was very, very, very fun growing up as a child. I have two older brothers, and you know, being the youngest one is kind of tough, you know. But I like it, you know. It's a cool place to be, and it's a nice environment to grow up in.
You played at West Jefferson High School, played for Hank Tierney. Just talk about that time in your life.
Well, it was a good experience, you know. I was going in high school, wanting to play quarterback, you know. They teased on me, saying I was a little too big to play quarterback. But once I got it down packed, well, you know, I can use my size and my speed to rush the passer, you know, and that's why I went from there.
Well, you went from there, you went to junior college and wound up at Arkansas Tech. Talk about the college experience.
Man, it's a real good transition, you know, from being in a junior college. Junior college, you know, you have 8 out-of-staters, you know, and most people don't really understand that. You have 40 to 50 guys coming in, and only 8 makes the team from out of state, so it's real tough, you know. That's the junior college, man. It's a good experience. Real big on discipline, you know. But as I went to Arkansas Tech for 2 years, you know, it was a good learning experience because being away from home, first real adventure away from the house, and it's just real good learning experience.
Now, this is your first professional opportunity here with the New Orleans Voodoo. Comes in your hometown. How much does this mean to you?
Oh man, it means a lot, man. Just get the appreciation from the fans and the family, man. You can't go wrong with the family at the house, you know. Now, playing in front of the home crowd, man, it's a blessing, man. Just thank the man above.
Every time something's on Facebook from the Voodoo and it involves Durandus Fry, Crystal seems to always have something to say about that. Who's Crystal?
That's my mom, man. My mom's my #1 fan, man. You know, it's just real great to have them in my arms right there behind me, pushing me and keep me going and keep me motivated and keep me doing the things that I do very well.
Talk about the transition, you know, making it from the outdoor game to this indoor game and just being a rookie in general.
Oh, it's tough, man. It's a real tough. You know, from playing outdoor, you know, it's different aspects of the game where you have different rules to follow, you know what I'm saying? It's like playing outside ball and then inside ball. It's a different atmosphere, you know. You have some days it's raining, some days it's cold, whereas in the arena, always the same, you know. And then like alignment, different alignments that they have. This is real tough to get over, but you know, it takes time to be great, you know.
As the season has gone on, do you feel like you've become more comfortable in the defensive role that they're asking you to play?
Oh yeah. It's great. It's great, man. The atmosphere and the learning. The learning, it takes time. The technique, you know, you have different techniques for different positions. You know, and it's just the transition, man. It's so you have to do it. You have to do it, but you have to do it right at the same time. You can't just do it and do it halfway. You have to do it 100% all the time.
Talk about that MAC position as opposed to the defensive end position.
Right. Well, my first time playing MAC this year. You know what I'm saying? It's like I usually prefer my hand to be in the ground, but if I can make that, you know, that effort, or I can play a little better at the MAC standing up, I'd love to do that too.
Durandus, as always, man, thanks for your time. I appreciate you stopping by to visit with us.
Oh man, no problem, man. It's a blessing. Thank you for having me here.
That's Durandus Frye. I'm Brandon Rizzuto. Stay tuned for more Voodoo action here on the Pat O'Hara Show, Cox 4. Welcome back to the Pat O'Hara Show here at the River Shack Tavern. We tape here every Monday, 3 o'clock. We'd love to see you. We have voodoo dolls, we have players here, and of course, head coach Pat O'Hara. Coach, Durandus Frye just joined us. Durandus is an outstanding guy from Terrytown, Louisiana.
It's nice to get, you know, local talent to play for the Voodoo. That's something we talked about in the off season is making sure we take care of our backyard. You know, there's so much talent in this area. I felt it's important, and there's so much love and attachment to people that live here and their own folks that live here and played ball here and play for their local team professionally. That's helped Durandus, and he's been a great acquisition for us.
Talk about him getting used to this game, learning the different positions that you're asking him to play on defense. He's
one of many of our players that are rookies, and not just rookies to the arena game, but rookies as professionals. You know, there's a lot of players in our league that have been through NFL camps, been through the CFL. This is Durandus' first barbecue, and we've asked him to play, you know, defensive end. We've asked him to play MAC linebacker. We've asked him to run down on special teams. We've asked him a few things that he's not normally used to doing. He's a normal defensive lineman. Durandus type of guy that's right up front in meetings, studying, trying to learn the game, wants to get better, and I think he's going to get better each week as we go.
Talk about that beard. We always have a lot of fun with him in and around the game. Just talk about that beard, Coach.
That's a pretty sharp beard. I like that beard. He kind of looks like a player from the Oklahoma City Thunder. We tease him about that, but I like the beard.
Coach, this past game was Military Appreciation Night, and I know Memorial Day was this past Monday. And talk about, you know, what it means to you, the serviceman. I know you have a deep connection with your 4 brother-in-laws.
Yeah, my brother-in-laws, my wife's brothers have all served in the military. One of her brothers, Mose Williams, served in the 1991 Gulf War and has had 3 tours during this whole phase of Iraq, been through Iraq and Kuwait and Afghanistan. And so we're very familiar from it, just from being a part of it, extended family-wise. So, you know, it's something that's special.
Talk about Sergeant Vance Core. You had a chance to meet him before he was deployed to Afghanistan. He actually took his voodoo jersey with him. How cool is that?
It was cool because we saw him come back. His daughter was born, and that was really neat to see. And then he came back for the Orlando Predator game, I believe 2 weeks ago, and he showed up. He's like, I'm home now for maybe a year or 2, and came back healthy, so that was a blessing.
You know, he's from New Orleans, roots for his New Orleans team. He's been a Voodoo fan since day one. He also has a mother-in-law that's a really big Voodoo fan as well.
Miss Cherry is our team mother now. She's the best, Miss Cherry Blackwell. She does so much for our program without wanting anything in return, and is just a really, really special woman, and now actually works for our organization, which makes us stronger.
Coach, as always, you know, Miss Cherry you don't know how well people are connected until you come to New Orleans. Isn't that correct? Just everybody just knows everybody.
You know, it's generations of families that, you know each other. I remember you and I went on a couple of lunch trips and went to Cafe Du Monde, and the owner there knew your dad, you know, and so there's a lot of connections, families here. That's really a neat thing. That's what I love about New Orleans is the people. The people are what really makes it special.
You're watching the Pat O'Hara Show. Stay tuned for more Voodoo action coming up next. Welcome back to the Pat O'Hara Show for the final segment this week. Coach, we get a chance to look around the division. We actually get a chance to play a divisional game for a change.
This is good. We get Georgia twice. We still got Jacksonville again. We get Orlando again. We've got a number of division games left. Our division is interesting. We talk about it every week, but Georgia and Tampa lead our division with just 6 wins, and then there's Jacksonville with 5 and us at 4. Anything can happen, and we all got to play each other. So it's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out. We're talking to our players about finding a way to get in that window to get in the tournament. You got to be top 4 in your conference. If you win your division, it doesn't matter what your record is. So it's the table's still set there. To get into that tournament, that's the goal.
You mentioned Georgia, and that's this week's opponent. And Coach, you look at that game, and you look at Georgia as a team, just very up and down, really roller coaster ride of a season.
Yeah, it's interesting. We talked to our team today, given our scouting report, is that you don't know what to expect from this team. They beat Chicago, who's a good football team, 70-49, and lost to Orlando 27-24. So you're not sure what you're going to get at any given day. So obviously what we tell our players is you got to be ready for the 70-point game. You really do. You're not sure what you're going to get. They fluctuated some quarterbacks in and out on their team. That's hurt them a little bit, but we've got to come in with our best game. And really, we leave on Thursday on a bus. We're going to circle up the wagons and get out there. And this is a huge game for us, obviously.
Georgia also coming off of a road loss to Kansas City Command, winning their first game at home, 39-27. Coach, do you think that has any edge to the game? Do you think Georgia comes back home hungrier for this game?
Well, I know their coach, and I know he's going to be getting his team ready to play. And they put up another, a 20-point type game on offense. That's unacceptable as a coach. You don't want to see that. He'll have his team ready. I've known him for a long time. They're playing at home. These guys have personal pride. And, getting that win, getting back to where they need to be. They're trying to prove themselves as, worthy of leading in our division. And they understand that, our team is better than what we showed the other night. So it should be a really hard physical game. You
mentioned the shuffling around of personnel and quarterbacks. They lost R.J. Archer earlier on this season, signed a young man named Kevin Eakin. He's taken over the reins, it seems. Just how big of a bearing does that have on your football team?
Well, we're trying to find out who's going to play quarterback. I think we have an idea. Kevin Eakin started the other day. R.J. Archer went to the Detroit Lions for a little while. He's no longer there. I think he went and got married last week and missed the game. That's my research. I think we're going to see Archer. He's their best option, and we're going to prepare for that.
Talk about some of the other personnel they have. C.J. Johnson, obviously another dangerous return man in the South.
C.J. Johnson was all-Ironman last year, and typically the all-Ironman player is a guy that's a returner and a receiver, like P.J. Barry was last year here. So C.J.'s tremendous. Remember, this is a team that went to the semifinal last year. They were a couple points away from beating Jacksonville and going to the Arena Bowl. So well-coached team and very sound.
Coach, just talk more about the matchup itself. I know you always try and focus on our guys and our team. Tell us about some of the guys that you're looking forward to having big games this week.
Well, I look at our team and I look at Georgia's team. I think we match up a lot better against Georgia, honestly, than we match up against Arizona. We match up well, I think, in all phases. I think we upgraded our pass rush with Xavier Brown this week. We've made an emphasis and sent a message to our players that our pass rush has to be better, or we need to make changes. And so we've got to get that done. Continue to protect Kurt. Kurt's got to have a better night. We kind of go as Kurt goes. And when he's playing well, there's no one better. So we've got to be sound in those two phases. And, of course, special teams. That's been a thorn in our side for some reason. We keep working on it more and more. Now we're starting to do more live work on kicking. We're trying to change it up to try to get the outcome we need from that aspect.
You mentioned the acquisition of Xavier Brown. Got a chance to trade away Leslie Majors, who was on other league exempt, and he didn't really get a chance to come in and show his stuff. But Xavier Brown has 6 sacks. Our entire team has 5 to this point.
It's a huge trade. We worked hard on that trade, and Leslie wasn't even going to be able to come play for us in New Orleans. He lives in Chicago. We asked for the world, and they were desperate to get Leslie. Leslie's a player that played for me in the past. We've got Jeremy Kellum in that position already, and it was a huge trade. They have a need there at middle position safety. We have a need at pass rusher. Xavier came in town today, and he's 3rd in the league in sacks, so we're excited about that trade.
Overall health coming into the game?
We're good. We're a little nicked up like everybody else, but I don't think anyone's going to be out because of injury, so we're good to go.
Coach, as always, thanks for your time. Best of luck in Georgia this week.
Thanks, Brandon.
You've been watching the Pat O'Hara Show, filmed here at the River Shack Tavern. We look forward to having you at our next Voodoo game next Saturday night against the San Antonio Talons. Thanks for watching.